Hello. So let's talk about the economy and the stock market. What exactly is the economy that they speak of on the news, and what exactly is the stock market? And why are they very important to traders? Why do traders and investors need to know about the economy and the stock market? So when we hear about economy, we're generally speaking about an economic report for the country or the state for the last quarter or the last year. So it's a look at the financial picture of a country or a company over the last uh, any given period of time. It could be a year, a quarter, sometimes 5 years. So that's, when we talk about economic analysis, is we're looking back at how the finances and the money operated through the country or through the system for a given period of time in the past. So, what exactly are the stock market and the stock market indices? Well, why do we invest in stocks? We invest in stocks to make a profit, or we sell our stocks. We buy stocks because we think the stocks, the stock price is going to go up, and we sell them when we think the stock price is going to go down. So, what exactly does the stock market tell us? Well, it tells us how people see the future. So one way of looking at it is that the economy tells us about the past, and the stock market it is telling us about the future. So if the stock market is going up, it means people are hopeful about the future. If the stock market is going down, it means people are not hopeful about the future, so they're selling. If they're hopeful about the future, they're buying, and the stock market prices go up. If they're not hopeful for the future, they sell, the, the stock market prices go down. So let's analyze the elements of how these price movement happens and how we make a decision when we look at the future. When we look at the future of a company, when we decide whether we're going to buy or sell or hold a stock into the future, how can we actually predict the future? Because technically, um, nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody can really 100% predict the future, but we can predict certain elements with of the future with a certain amount of certainty by using some forms of logical deductions. So we know for sure that there are certain catalysts that help with indicating to us whether a stock is going to go up or it's going to go down. Again, there's never 100% certainty that this is what's going to happen, but there is a certain level of confidence we can have rather than just blindly buying and selling. So some of the catalysts we look at are, I'm sure you've heard of um, hype and pump and dump and so on. But akin to that, and a more formal version of that, is news. So when we hear things about a company in the news, we can use that to predict how strong the company is and how it's going to go up or down. So we're using Moderna here, and this is the Webull platform. And I'll tell you why I'm using the Webull platform in a minute to do this analysis. So if we look at the news on Moderna, and this is, by the way, this is real time. This is uh, August August 13th, and here we have Moderna at 7:30. I'm hoping to post this immediately after I record it. So here we have a bit of news just released on Reuters. There's a brief there that says Government of Canada negotiate additional agreements with Moderna for vaccine supply in 2021. So this is good. This tells me as a reader that okay, they're going to have more revenue coming in, so they have a chance of making more money, more profit. Maybe their profits are going to go up. Okay? Again, this is not investment advice. I'm not an advisor. I'm just a regular guy trading stocks. So if you want to invest, invest at your own risk or seek advice from a professional. So, Government of Canada negotiates additional agreement with Moderna for vaccine supply beyond 2021. So this tells us that again in the future, this company is going to have more business. And here is another bit of catalyst. Another bit of news is basically covering the same article. It's just another company covering it. Oh, it says Reuters up there as well. So that's good news for Moderna. So, and in Webull here we see most people are still bullish on it. 77.78 of people are still bullish on Moderna. So that's one indicator. That's one sort of formal way that we can use to predict whether a company is strong and whether we should buy or keep it or hold it or sell it, right? Just by looking at the news, looking at news catalysts, right? The current state of the world, what we're living under, that thing we can no longer talk about on YouTube. When it happened in 2020, that was another catalyst in the stock market. It causes the market to go down, and there was a gradual recovery as we got more news and stimulus and so on from the government. So there's news, right? News is one way of predicting the future of a company. Another way is by looking back into the past and making deductions. And one way of doing that is fundamental analysis. Now, I'm going to cover fundamental analysis at a later detail with all the indicators and numbers and ratios we should look at. But some of the main elements of it would be the dividends, the earnings, and the revenue. So let's take a look at Moderna. Here is usually where you have the fundamental analysis. This is, no, that's not the fundamental analysis. Let me go back here. The chart. Okay, news company. Okay, here you go. So here is the Q2 revenue, right? That's the financials of the company. Where they have analysis on Webull, I think that's what analysts are saying about it. Okay, what analysts use, the indicators that analysts use. So these are the analyst ratings of the company. This is just for Webull platform, but generally, when we talk about fundamental analysis, we're looking at the financial numbers of the company, the profitability of the company. So we have things like earnings per share, which is $6.45 per share. We have other ratios like price over earning ratio, dividend yield, and so on. So dividends is one of the reasons why we invest in stocks. So because it's residual income, we put that money there, we invest in a company, and every quarter the company gives us back money. So if these financial indicators here, these fundamental analysis ratios look a certain way, we could predict whether that dividend is going to go up or down. If it's going to go higher, it means more people are going to want to buy this stock, and the price is most likely going to go up, all things being equal. Again, there is a level of certainty with this prediction. Nothing is 100% guaranteed, and I am not a financial advisor, but looking at these numbers, fundamentals of a company, is a great way of determining whether it's going to stay in business or not. Right? If a company has a lot of debt and it's losing money, it's making a loss instead of a profit, there's a possibility that it could go out of business and you lose all your money that you invest. So these fundamental analysis is another way of analyzing, of determining whether we think a company's price is going to go up or down. Most of what I'm going to talk about would be fundamental analysis, because I'm a great fan of knowing the financial situation of a company as a way of knowing how it's going to behave in the future. I am a very young person, so I like knowing that a company has solid financials, that it's going to stay afloat and stay in business for a very long time. Going back to the news, by the way, there are other news that could tell us about whether company prices are going to go up or down, right? Like with the AMC situation, we were here about short squeeze, etc. Okay, so we talked about the news. We talked about news that will indicate for future earnings. We talked about the last earning figures that could indicate future growth in the company. And another way in which we can try to predict the price of a stock or which direction it's going to move in is by using technical analysis. And you've seen this a lot. So one of the commenters in one of the last video, Tom, he asked me what I thought about candlesticks and what they're used for. So this is the answer to that question, Tom. So let me just switch over here on Moderna to candlesticks. Now, what candlesticks make it easy to do, it makes it easy for us to recognize patterns in the market. Okay? So this is Moderna for today, and this price here, where is it? So if we switch to the candles, we can take a look at how the stock behaved based on price action and what patterns we can recognize from this price action. The only thing I recognize here is that this price, I don't know if you could see it, is just between 9. It looks like it's 390. The price 390 seems to be a lot of resistance going up here and a lot of support going down here. There was a lot of support here, and once it broke that support, it went down, and then it became a resistance going back up. But we'll get more into technical analysis. Yeah, you could see that going across there, that trend line. You can draw certain trend lines. So basically, candlesticks are used to help us draw things like trend lines and to do pattern analysis to determine how a stock is going to behave. It's based on that assumption that the way stocks behaved in the past is very similar to the way they're going to behave in the future, unless something chaotic happens. And that's another way of trying to determine what the future price of a stock is, with a certain level of confidence, of course. You know, generally speaking, nobody can predict the direction of movement of a stock, but blindly clicking up or down or buy or sell, there is a very low chance of you actually making money. Um, as we learn different strategies and different indicators and different analysis methods, we learned with different levels of confidence that there are ways of making small amounts of money in the stock market. And by repeating those ways of making money with a certain degree of certainty, we can indeed trade and try to secure some amount of money. Another way of thinking of it is by looking at the strong fundamentals of a company, or by looking at a company to determine whether it has strong fundamentals or not, we can buy it and hold it for many years into the future, and we are guaranteed that it will beat inflation based on what services the company provides and how strong the fundamentals are. I hope this video helped you to understand some of what the economy is, what the stock market is, and how we can use different forms of analyses to understand how the stock market is going to behave in the future and how certain stocks are going to behave in the future. Again, thank you for watching. If you found this content helpful, give it a thumbs up, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you think anyone will find it useful, please share it with them. Again, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you.